Peace to the gods, peace to the gods. Let all y'all get in today. Peace, peace, peace. What's happening? What's happening? Let's see if this thing wants me to. This thing wants me to. And I'm gonna do it like this. All right. You know, YouTube, they be tripping sometimes with the. Sometimes they let you do it in portrait, and other times they want you to do it in this way. Class is in session. Yes, it is. How y'all doing today? Hold on just a second. I'll be right back. Peace, peace, peace. Yes, you're catching me live. I'm going to talk about some things today while I'm working. Because I'm up here working and somebody sent me a video. It was a video of an individual talking about where your money's located. That is located in the state where you were born. Let me tell y'all something, man. All right. Come on, let me start this off this way. If you are new to this, okay, I've been doing this like probably about 17, 18 years, something like that. Listen to a whole bunch of people. You know, I used to be on Talk Shoe listening to Angela Stark and all of her people, Creditors and Commerce, Winston Shroud, Gene Keating, Tony King, Patrick Devine, David Clarence, just a whole bunch of people. All right, gurus come and go. All right. Now, what I haven't seen is anybody who has a remedy that works exactly every time for everybody. If they did, they'd be selling the shit. They'd be like super wealthy. And they're not going to, the powers that be ain't going to let that happen. No way. They're not going to let nothing happen where you can just make some sort of boilerplate type of process. Now, this is why I teach principles. There are principles that are never going to change. One of the principles that I teach is there is no money. I want y'all to repeat. Everybody repeat after me. There is no money. The next one is you should own nothing and control everything. Now, that's what the elite do. Own nothing and control everything. Now, that right there is very important for you to understand. So when people start talking about you got secret accounts, you got money located somewhere, there isn't any money. You are the money. You're the money. I don't understand why people don't understand that. There ain't no money. HCR 192 of June 5th, 1933, Public Law 73-10, and all associated policies was a public declaration that there isn't any money. No, don't start asking me for contacts 101. Don't ask me for no personal shit. I'm talking right now. All right. Don't ask me for no consultations or nothing, because you're just gonna get a no. All right. No, I ain't doing that. I'm talking about some other shit right now. Be respectful and listen to what I'm talking about. Maybe you will get the answer to your question if you'll take the time to listen and see what somebody's talking about. It's basic principles that you just need to understand. Ain't no money, y'all. Gold and silver is the money. That's why you have the UCC. The whole reason the UCC is in existence is because there is no money. Okay, right now, how things exist is interest in things. There's a very good document you should read. Is Acceptance for Value. Do you really understand what does acceptance for value mean by Byron Beers? It's a very good document for you to read. The reason why is because, you really get to understand how there is no money. That was one of the first things that had to hit me, that there isn't any money. There's no money. Okay, you got credit. It's a credit-based system. Okay, and value is what we have to determine. Well, where is value coming from? And value is coming from an interest in things. Okay, interest in things. And this is a concept. I don't see why this is so hard, because all y'all see it. Every time y'all get a loan or finance something, somebody wants collateral in something. Right? That's where value in negotiable instruments is coming from. It doesn't matter if it's a bond, a promissory note, an international bill of exchange. All those are just negotiable instruments. All a bond is just a promise. It's just a promise. Okay? That's all it is. There isn't any money. There's no money. All right? This is why you think everybody's doing the thing with saying with the banks ain't loaning you nothing. They're not loaning you anything because there ain't no money. There's no money. There's no secret account somewhere. Ain't no secret account anywhere. I talked to an attorney who understood this, and he explained it to me. I had a little instruction manual, how you go through the DTC, and then you go to your TDA account that everybody likes to talk about, how you have to fund all this stuff. It's going to be done with a bond and through a trust. You have to have some sort of negotiable instrument. You have to have a trust that's going to direct where the credits are going to go and make sure that they go for some sort of commercial purpose. All of this stuff ain't no money. When they be talking about secret account, what are you talking about? Your account is on your bond. Your account is on your bond. Ain't no money. There's no money. Somebody in the chat room explain to me how there's money. And y'all just read HGR 192. Tell me how there's money. And do y'all believe that y'all got a secret account somewhere with some money hidden in it for you? They printed a certain amount. Okay, let's say that. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You have to put money in commerce for the amount of people who are born. So there has to be enough money in circulation for you. So there is a thing to say, well, every person's worth about 750,000 or 1.2 million or something like that, based off of, an actuary table of how much your value is during the lifetime of your labor, based off of a minimum wage value. Everybody's worth probably about 750,000 to $1 million during their lifetime. So they can go to the Federal Reserve and borrow that amount. And then you have to pay it back in interest over your lifetime through taxes, through taxation. Sounds good. I go with that. What's another one? They're just confused with the definition. That's why they call it money. Well, money is just a medium of exchange. You got money of account. You have money of exchange. That's another thing these people don't seem to understand. We can read the affidavit of Walker Todd. Walker Todd is an attorney who worked for the Federal Reserve, who gave expert commentary in a case and lets you know the difference between money of account and money of exchange. Okay, we are in an accounting situation right now, because money of exchange is gold or silver or negotiable instruments that can be redeemed in gold or silver. That's money of exchange. All right, like silver certificates, gold certificates, or gold and silver and things of that nature. All right. Your labor. All right. Labor has value. Labor has value. It does. Interest in things. Somebody put an interest in your labor. That has value. All right. So it's an interest in a thing. All right. That's where money is coming from right now. A security interest in things. Thing is a legal term, by the way, a thing. It's a security interest in a thing. That's where value is coming from, because there isn't any money. So when there's no money, somebody has to have a interest in some property that you own, whether it be personal or real property. Okay, that's where value is coming from. They're just confused with the definition of money. I mean, they can read Modern Money Mechanics and explain to you, that Federal Reserve notes don't have any intrinsic value. There's only two types of money. That's true. Money of account and money of exchange. It's all war script like food stamps and vouchers. You can call it whatever you want to. I don't even get into all of that. We just keep things very simple. All right. We have money of exchange or money of account. Either it's going to be an accounting where we're going to keep track of who owes what to who, and then we can balance the books at the end of the day where nobody owes anybody anything. Therefore, it would negate the need for money of exchange. As long as we can keep the accounting going and zero out the account every day, there's no need for money of exchange. This is what old boy was talking about in Patman. He was talking about. Let me read this to you. And I get tired of these old bitch ass niggas with this, their feelings and shit like that. Yeah, if you're watching this video, I'm talking about your motherfucking ass. You need to get out your motherfucking feelings and mind your fucking business. Because I'm getting tired of your motherfucking ass for real. Just because I'm quiet don't mean I ain't gangster. It means I'm trying to focus on what the fuck I'm doing. Niggas get a little money in their pocket and shit. They think that all of a sudden they street and they gangsters and shit like that. Because you got some money. Fuck out of here. Let's see. If you go to SPC University, go to Resource tab, go to PDFs, and you get creditors in their bonds. No, the webinar I'm doing tomorrow is just for people who are not members. I'm going to be doing the same thing for members. Y'all don't have to worry. Members are going to get the information. Right now, I'm re-updating the entire website. Recalibrating the entire website. But, SBC University members don't have to worry. It's just for non-members. You're gonna get the same information if you're a member. So don't, just make sure you just attend all the webinars. Let's see. Okay, now if you go to page Mr. Patman. It says, Mr. Patman, under the new law, the money is issued to the bank in return for government obligations, bills of exchange, drafts, notes, trade acceptances, and bankers' acceptances. The money will be worth 100 cents on the dollar because it is backed by the credit of the nation. It will represent a mortgage on all the homes and other property of all the people in the nation. Notice that he said it represents a mortgage. Mr. Patman, the money issued will not have 1 penny of gold coverage behind it because it is really not needed. Now that right there was the statement that Mr. Patman made, and this is March 9th, 1933 in the 73rd Congress, that really just raised my eyebrows, but I understood what he was talking about. You really don't need gold or silver. When you're using a credit-based system, okay, where you balance the books every day, all you're doing is keeping track of who owes what to who. And if you balance the books every day, money of exchange never needs to come into play. because all you like, if I owe you $500, and then turns around and you owe somebody else $500, and then he owes me $500. At the end of the day, everybody owes everybody $500. You just zero it out. And we never needed to really do any of exchange of anything, just zero out the books. So this is what you're talking about, zero out your account. This is what we're saying. All right. As far as Washington, D.C. is concerned, that's what the Secretary of Treasury is. When you read the the IRS employee manual, when you send a bill of exchange to 1500, when you send a bill of exchange to them, they're going to send it to 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue. And I don't deal with promissory notes or bonds or anything like that, unless when you send your initial bond to the Treasury Department, that's just representing your credit from your birth certificate. Your birth certificate comes from your state, okay, and it represents that you are an entitlement holder that with a right, an entitlement right for a distribution from the trust. You're a beneficiary. The value of your labor is what that represents, and you put it in the form of a bond. A bond is just a promise. Ain't no money. There's no money. There isn't any money. There's no money in circulation in this country. Nowhere in the world. The elite have taken all the gold and silver for themselves. Probably extraterrestrials have taken it, if you want me to be honest, because they need the gold and silver. I saw, what's his name who helped establish the Federal Reserve. I'll think of him in a minute. He said the gold is wasting away in the pockets of the American people. And, he's just basically saying that, average people on the street don't know what to do with gold and silver. So they created this fictional jurisdiction. It's a democratic legislative jurisdiction under the United States, and gave you all monopoly money and then put you on an accounting system. It's just really ridiculous. At the end of the day, you don't have to pay for anything because everything is already prepaid. Because the credit, the gold and silver they took, there's an expectation of return of the gold and silver. So he who pays the gold, who has the gold pays the bills. That's the whole reason that you're sending stuff to the Secretary of Treasury. They are responsible for paying the bills because they got the gold. They can pay it. You can't. And they're your public servants. And anything else would be slavery. And slavery, involuntary servitude, is against the Constitution. I read a lot of information on those born in D.C. When you're born in D.C., you in a you born in a territory. But I don't think that's going to stop you from making a claim as a real living soul, because everything in the public is fictional. And you're a real living soul, so it's just, you got to understand the difference between public and private. I don't really think it matters much that you were born in D.C. if you understand the difference between public and private. That's where a lot of you seem to be missing the boat. This is about public and private. Everything in the public is an artificial entity. The gold was tucked away. That showed that it is one to die hard. Okay. Couldn't Trump have waged war against the enemy and had the recount of the election? Well, we ain't talking about Trump. We ain't talking about the election and shit right now. Peace, King Yusef, and to all the gods and goddesses tuned in, Islam. I'm gonna have to start blocking motherfuckers again. Let me go this way. Start blocking these motherfuckers. I got a new channel now, so it's like, all the motherfucking pull this up. Let me get y'all name. Y'all niggas asking those dumbass questions and shit. Let me just block your bitch ass so you have to go get another account. Be smart now if you're going to be a troll. You got to be smart. You got to be smart. Can't be a dumbass nigga all your motherfucking life. You know what I'm saying? Use your common sense at some point in your life, What the hell? What is this going? I ain't trying to sign into that. That's crazy. Where is it at? Trying to see what's going on right here, y'all. What the hell? Let's keep doing that. This is crazy. All right, let me get back. Sitting here I'm trying to log in, y'all. I'm having a problem logging in.
I see my boy out here, and he's just impressed the hell.
All right. Okay, let's see. Is this it? All right. Yeah, I think we are there. All right, good. All right, let me get back. I had to log in so I can see where the. I had to log in so I can see where the. Block the trolls and shit. You gotta just block the ass. All right, let's keep going. I think I got it. Let's see. All right. All right, there we go. Everyone will be able to answer some of your own questions by listening intently to all Yusef videos. And they would be. They sure would. Good time and Yusef just taking my lunch break for picking strawberries. I've been watching you for 2 years. I thank God for you. Unfortunately, I'm starting from the beginning due to the fears and some other mishaps. You don't have to be afraid of anything. Got to be afraid of nothing, man. This is not nothing for you to be afraid of. Let's see what we got right here. Okay, got that done. Okay. Let's see. China, Russia all become economic superpowers without gold and silver. Now they might be sticking up. But, well, I mean, all countries got gold and silver. All right, they do business in gold and silver. Some might have more than the other. All right, let's see. Can people discharge statements from electric bills and through the Treasury? I mean, I wouldn't suggest you try like electric bills and things like that. I would I would tell you just like, 1099 them or something like that. I have done it in the past. Yes, I have done it in the past and got. I mean, one time I did it and they came and cut off my electricity and then an hour later cut it back on. And I had these funny credits on my bill. It would, it would show every time I'd get a bill, it'd have the negative sign in front of it. So yeah, you can do it. Would I suggest that a newbie do it? No, I would not suggest that a newbie do it. I don't suggest newbies do things like mess with utility bills because utility bills, they have power over you. You don't have no way really to enforce it. You got to understand a negotiable instrument is just what the word says, negotiable. They negotiate it. They can accept it or they don't have to accept it. The person that is responsible for paying all your bills is the government, the U.S. Treasury Department. They're the ones. So if you send it to them with a processing instructions and saying, send this to the Treasury Department, what does House Resolution 192 of June 5th say? All right. They're going to accept it dollar for dollar. So they are the ones who have the contract with the American people. When you got these private corporations, even though they are sub-corporations of the United States, they're not the one that actually do the discharge. It is the United States government that does it, and the Treasury Department is the point man for all the accounting in the entire nation. Everything runs through the Treasury Department. I don't understand why people would even say anything against the Treasury Department. When you start talking about Puerto Rico and things like that, there's an article on the internet from Dan. This is where they get this from Dan Meter and Bill Cooper, okay, who discuss Puerto Rico, okay. And let me read this for you real quick. Name of it is Who is the IRS? And there's one with William Cooper too. And it's BATF. Let me see if I can find it on here. Yeah, here it is, ATF. So I'm going to put the link in the chat room for y'all. Here's the link right here. I want y'all to read this along with me. It's because I always hear people talking about Puerto Rico. All right, and what that is, I think that's the right one. Let me make sure I get y'all the right link. Yeah, it's right there. If you go down and just click the link, BATF from IRS. On June 6, 1972, Acting Secretary of Treasury Charles E. Walker signed Treasury Order number 120-01, which establishes the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. And that's where they say that the Treasury Department, the IRS came from, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. This is really interesting. Like when you get your master, master file from the IRS, in there it talks about all of this. Okay, he did this through a stroke of his pen, citing by virtue of the authority vested to me as Secretary of the Treasury, including the authority and reorganization plan number 26 of 1950, he ordered the transfer as specified herein, the functions, powers, and duties of the Internal Revenue Service arising under laws relating to alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives, including the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division of the Internal Revenue Service, to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, hereinafter referred to as the Bureau, which is hereby established. All right, the Bureau shall be headed by the Director of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, hereinafter referred to as Director. The Director shall perform his duties under the general direction of the Secretary of the Treasury, hereinafter referred to as the Secretary, and under the supervision of the Assistant Secretary, Enforcement, Tariff, and Trade Affairs and Operations, hereinafter referred to as the Assistant Secretary. Okay, so persons becoming a thing. I'm going to skip around. I'm not going to read all of it. It says, unlike Humphrey, however, Walker assuages himself of any guilt when he nullified the order by proclaiming the terms Director, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division and Commissioner of the Internal Revenue, wherever used in regulations, rules, and instructions and forms issued or adopted for the administration and enforcement of the laws specified in paragraph 2 hereof, which are in effect or in use on the effective date of this order, shall be held to mean the Director. BATF Puerto Rico. We have already demonstrated that both of these organizations are in reality the same organization. Where we find one, we will surely find the other. In 27 CFR Chapter 1, Section 250.11 definitions, we find the United States Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Office, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Office in Puerto Rico, and Secretary of the Treasury, the Secretary of Puerto Rico, and the Revenue Agent, and duly authorized Commonwealth Internal Revenue Agent of the Department of Treasury of Puerto Rico. Remember, the Internal Revenue is the name of the Puerto Rico Trust number 62. It is perfectly logical and reasonable that a revenue agent works as an employee for the Department of Treasury of the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. Where is the alleged Internal Revenue Service? Internal Revenue Code of 1939, aka Internal Revenue Code of 1954, etc. 27 CFR refers to Title 26 as irrelevant to Title 27. As per Title 27, Code of Federal Regulations, Chapter 1, Section 250.30, which states that 26 U.S.C. 5001A1 is governing a 27 U.S.C. law. Hold on for a second. Yes. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, you're welcome. It's housekeeping, y'all. You know I'm in Vegas. Y'all see the room? I'm at a penthouse in the Bellagio right now. But anyway, I want you to read this document, because all y'all keep talking about Puerto Rico and the Treasury Department and things of that nature. Just read it. Understand this. All these gurus out here, just learn some basic principles. Forget the methodology that they're talking about. Forget all of that, somebody coming with a one-page document that's going to, save you. You don't have to do all these 99 pages of documents and all this stuff that you hear floating around. I keep it simple. There's a public and a private. There is no money. Be honorable in all your dealings and do not participate in public controversy. They can say what they want to. Those 4 principles apply to everything. They apply to everything. Understand those principles, and next time somebody's talking to you, just read the principles. Like, well, you told me we got an account somewhere where there ain't no money. There's no money. There's no money. All right? There isn't any money. There's no money. There's no money. There is no money. There's no money. All you got is credit. It's a credit-based system, okay? There's no money of exchange. There's no money. When I say no money, I mean constitutional money, okay? Some of y'all can't pick up on that either when I'm saying there's no money. Y'all motherfuckers like, there's some money. What is he talking about? Shut the fuck up. I'm talking about the constitutional mandate for money, all right, which is gold and silver. When you do an exchange, all right, there ain't no taxes. There's nothing like that because there's an exchange, because there's no profit or gain.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Oh, she don't want the wrong thing?
Come back later.
All right. All right, let me get back to the questions. I don't want to get distracted. There's a lot of y'all on here. The conclusion I've come up with about my administrative process, federal court chose to negotiate with my instrument. Now I've been at the point of trial, I've been fighting for 2 years, and sometimes you will fight a long time. You was at the Bellagio last night. I know that's right. It's a nice hotel. I think the MGM Grand is more where all the action is, though, at the MGM Grand, just my opinion. I was told people going to jail for filing 1099 OIDs. Don't you have to have a? I mean, there were people going to jail for filing 1099 OIDs. Those who embellish on it. There are a lot of people who don't go. I get people all the time calling me who've done 1099 OIDs and got money back for not in jail, right? And who receive visits. What's going to predicate on that is when you get that visit from the Federal Reserve or the IRS agent who's going to come to your house and talk to you. And that's how you need to know how to respond, because that's kind of like a show cause hearing. When they come to see you, they're trying to see if there's any cause of action to bring against you because you filled out these 1099 OIDs. And a lot of times their most pressing concern is who taught you how to do it, which is why I don't get into, like people want to do consultations with me and they want to talk about 1099. I don't talk about that shit. Go read some case law, dumb motherfucker. All right. They don't want people out here teaching you how to do that shit. It's dumb, man. People are dumb. They are. They don't read. That's the problem. They don't read. They don't read. That's the number one problem in the world today. People won't read. They think they know everything. Usually my dad passed away and he was my mentor. Could you accept to be my mentor? I'm mentoring everybody right now. And condolences to you and your father. The joys of working from home. Yes, as you've always said, public and private, understand the difference and learn how to discharge it. I mean, understand how to do public and private first, because before you do discharge it, you have to understand that in the private is where the credit is at. The private is where the credit's at. It's not in the public. The public is bankrupt. Everything in the public is bankrupt. That's why you're severing this amalgamation with that straw man, or what you want to call this artificial person, or this transmitted utility that they assign to you in the public, because there's an operational presumption in place that you and that entity are one and the same, because you've been acting like they're one and the same. Actions speak louder than words. You need a CAF number for power of attorney for IRS 1099 OID. No, you don't. No. How people are lost due to lack of knowledge and understanding. Once again, y'all don't understand public and private. Y'all don't understand public and private. Yeah. You got a social security number. You can use what is it? Number. What I'm trying. My mind went blank for a second. Something keeps telling me to say CUSIP number. You can use a private number for reporting purposes. I know because I do it. I got a CPA, and the feds tell you that. And let me give you the website for that, so y'all can read it for yourself. Because I'm so tired of people saying this. Get a CPN number is what I was trying to think of. I want y'all to go to this website right here. This is an FBI website. This is a Fed website. Okay, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. Go down to footer 35, and you'll see right here it says, credit privacy numbers are 9-digit numbers that follow the same algorithm as Social Security account numbers. Currently, federal law allows individuals to legally use CPNs for financial reporting and protects those individuals who do not wish to disclose their Social Security account numbers. Individuals who acquire CPNs are completely responsible for any debt they incur using this number. Acquiring a CPN is supposed to be a free service. Therefore, websites that offer CPNs for a fee are most likely scammers. So right there in one swoop, we can get rid of this notion that CPNs are illegal. I've been in court with my CPN number. I was indicted on a federal case, and that was brought into the case. I bought a house with a CPN number, and they threw it out. All right, because you have to understand who the credit bureaus are. The credit bureaus are family-owned data mining companies. They are not governmental entities, and they have no inherent right to your social security number, notwithstanding the fact that social security numbers were never intended for identification purposes. Y'all need to educate yourself on the Privacy Act, for real. I'll put it in the chat room again. Somebody want me to repost it. I just reposted it right there. You can click on the link and go down to footer number 35 at the bottom of the page and read it for yourself. And somebody keep talking about True Freeman again. I wish you'd shut the fuck up about other guys. True Freeman been on my show many, many times. Don't have anything against True Freeman. If somebody wants to say they stole something from them, I got a damn website called where I learned all my information from. I didn't steal anything from anybody because I was in jail when I learned this. So just use your common sense. The name of this is Common Sense again. Stop trying to stir up discontent because you ain't nothing but a little black devil or whatever trying to do that. You little bitch ass nigga trying to do that when you come over onto other platforms and try to say what somebody else said. I don't fall for that. I've been doing that for too long. And you're not intelligent enough to try to stir up some sort of discontent or anything like that, because that doesn't affect me. I don't give a fuck what nobody says about me personally. So you can say whatever you want to say. And it's just an attempt to try to, like, they be coming in saying other people's names. They trying to promote them. You know, they like a street team or some shit like that. Y'all come over and start talking about other gurus. You know, what, you they street team and shit? You trying to, yeah, you know, this guy over here said you stole his information. I'm like, I got a video on here where I got all my information from. How much weight do you put on using legal paper when sending? I mean, I don't put a lot of weight on it at all. I mean, if you want to use it, fine. A lot of that stuff was done when I first got in this, like 18 years. You got to put on legal paper and things like that. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Do I think it matters? No. Let's see what else we got. Please explain the difference between a public debt and a private. I don't understand the question. You supposed to know what the difference between a public and private. What you mean? Is the person behind the mark of the beast, including having to have a number so that kind of business, SSN 98 CPN. Now the mark of the beast is, like I said, the SSN number. The CPN number is private. It's called a privacy number. And if somebody's saying I took somebody's ideas and sold them, Arthur Tough, please tell what ideas I took and sold them. List them. Put a fucking address on the shit. Just don't say no general ass shit. Identify exactly what I took from somebody and sold. Identify exactly. Because I can tell you everywhere I get. I've been doing this 15 years. I tell everybody where I get information from. Because none of us created any of it. Everybody got it from somebody else. Nobody created this shit. No, I have a webinar on dual citizenship. What the fuck would I have a webinar on dual citizenship for? What the fuck for? Learn from the following your steps brought by home last year using a CPN. I bought a house with a CPN number. Cars, everything. I don't know what they're talking about. It's stupid. It's stupid. If we talking that shit, I'm like, man, I've been in court. You can't use, see what they try to make y'all feel like when they say a CPN number is illegal, they try to make it seem like you're stealing somebody else's identity. That you got a CPN number that belongs to somebody else. It's a social security number that belongs to somebody else. Or that in some kind of way that you're not revealing that you're using a CPN number. That's what, and then most of the people who are against that are attorneys and people who do like credit repair and things of that nature. But that's bullshit. I know for a fact that's bullshit. And right there on the FBI website, they just told you it's bullshit. So, like I always say, if it's illegal, then tell the FBI to take it off their website. Because the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has told you that CPN numbers are legal. In the second part of the video on the administrative process available online or through SBC University. Through SBC University. Well, making a living trust. I don't fuck with living trust. So don't ask me about living trust. I fuck with private, unincorporated business organizations. So don't ask me about a fucking living trust. All right, looking good, brother. Appreciate it. See how easy it is to answer questions. All you got to do is just tell them, motherfucker. You know, people ask you questions that shit you don't even deal with. Just say, don't even waste your time with it. And it's just for people who teach. When people ask you a question that is something that's totally unrelated to what you teach or anything, just tell the motherfucker no. Because the dumb motherfucker should have went and watched your videos and studied about you first before they asked a question. So you well within your right to call him a dumb motherfucker. Like, what the fuck is you asking me this fucking question for? Why the fuck are you asking me this question? Go and study and watch the videos and see what the fuck I teach. Because what they try to do is they try to, like, even though I know all about living trust, because that, you know, living trust is like, who wants to deal with that shit? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but the thing about it is that's not, you into privacy. I'm into privacy, all right? I'm dealing with contract organizations because contract law is private. So why would they ask you that question? That's the thing about it. You got to just get into the habit. And it's just for people who are going to teach on their own. Don't waste time asking questions that are unrelated or not germane to what you discuss. Just tell them, get the fuck on and go somewhere else. They want to learn about living trust, go ask an attorney or go somewhere else like that. If they want to know about 1099 OID, tell them to go somewhere else. You don't have to waste any time trying to explain that shit to anyone. Just if they asking you, because they should have did the research on you first. And some of the questions that they asked is just a testament to the fact that they didn't do any research on you, so they don't read and don't do any research, period. So they're lazy and they're looking for someone to come and ask questions for them when any idiot can get Google fucking living trust. It's in the public. You know, anybody can, or you go get some of Patrick Devine's old information. He talks about it. Let's say it says, before I locked up, I was in the process, got an electronic file, UCC. I don't know what that is. Can I use the file number for the filings in home states and states where property resides? Use it for what? What are you talking about? Yeah, you got a filing number. You got a UCC filing number. What are you going to use it for? I mean, there are notices. A UCC1 is a notice. Who are you trying to notice? About what? Well, making a living, I just answered that. This information has been a blessing to me. You're welcome. Is the second, okay, let's see. Is it possible to do a webinar on how to use a trust to issue negotiable instruments if you don't want to go through SBC route? I mean, what are you talking about? Is it possible to learn how to issue a trust? What do you think your straw man is? What do you think that the whole SBC process is? It's called a UCC contract trust account. That's what you're being taught with the SBC. You know, it's called a UCC contract trust account. What do you think we've been teaching? We've been teaching that the whole time. Your opinion, EIN or foreign EIN on the right document to read. Yeah, foreign EINs are the only EIN number you can get. You don't have to use a social security number. They're good to use. Depending on what you're using it for. What are you using it for? Even if someone gives you info and does all the work, you still have to read. You do. People don't want to read. They don't want to read. There's the majority of people out there, they don't want to read. We all stand for the shoulders of other great men. And it gets on my nerves when people try to act like they made this shit up or they some sort of genius or something like that. When all of this information is the product of, and that's why let me read this to you. I love this in Dealing with Presentments. I mean, it was spoken so well. It just stated so well. Because you got people out there, they got they just arrogant. Motherfucker, somebody taught you this shit. You know what I'm saying? You didn't make this shit up or just fall out the sky in your lap. You know, usually somebody had some sort of issue that they were dealing with, child support, getting arrested, getting their children taken or something like that. And that is usually what led to them coming into an understanding of certain information. So, always remember that, because people try to just act like, that they wrote this shit. And it's like, this shit is not written down anywhere. It's not written down nowhere. It's not written down. Ain't none of this shit written down. Y'all be listening to people like they just got the word is law on it. It ain't written down nowhere. None of it. You are depending on the research of other individuals, and that research is predicated on the research of other individuals. I love this right here. This says, this is a private expression of personal perspective and is neither public disclosure nor a public offering. The material set forth herewith is for educational purposes only. Nothing stated herein is intended as constituting legal advice and is not provided with any warranties express or implied. The contents set forth herein constitute the opinions and understanding of the author. Okay, acknowledgement. This work is the product of the dedication, intelligence, and above all, courage/risk of many people. Some have paid and are paying and are threatened with paying with their property, freedom, and their lives. Like Jack Smith comes to mind. Like Jack Smith, he was a pioneer in this. He's in jail. He's in federal prison, but he laid the foundation for a lot of stuff that people are using and exposed and got information for anybody. You're gonna start knocking him and everything because he came years before you, and he's a pioneer in it, and now you get to benefit from that. And you want to acknowledge, you don't want to acknowledge any of these people. Oh, they made mistakes. Yeah, they made mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. But you would have never even found out a lot of the information, because a lot of information that he had and the mistakes that he made allows you to see what you don't need to do. Like putting routing numbers on the bottom of instruments and shit like that and trying to pay for shit. You know, you constantly got people talking about, you know, can I buy this? Can I pay for this? Can I, can I do this? You know, and they just don't even have the common sense enough to not to even use that terminology. And they keep coming to you, saying it over and over and over again. They won't go and read any of your old past videos. They just come, can I buy a car? Can I pay for this? Can I pay off this? It's like, no, you're not paying for anything. You're doing a set off. You're not paying for anything. There isn't any money. It appears that the numbers of such casualties in the cause of true freedom, justice, and peace are rapidly increasing. This work is dedicated to all those who share these values in whatever way they perceive and think of them. Note, this article, such as every treatise of this type, must be regarded as a work in progress, that is subject to change without notice at any instant based upon the acquisition of new knowledge, information, insights, and experience. And there is a very popular guru out there who tells y'all that all the time. You know, my information can change based upon new insights, you know, acquisition of new knowledge, information, insights, and experience. And this right here is attributed to Jack Smith, this document right here from a long time ago. So, you know, people are going to say that, you know, but somebody said that a long time ago for this other person, you know. Basically, I believe that the man is a God sent, so shut up. Okay, thank you. What's up, Yusef? First time I made it into a live stream. Good. Yusef, I'm reading Passing the Buck, book 1 and 2. Great read. I didn't know Jack Smith is in jail. I knew Gordon Hall and Brandon are in jail. They went to jail. Yes, they did. And Jack Smith did as well. A long time ago. He's in Colorado, I think. Jack Smith. Last time I checked. You know, and that's why, you know, I'm teaching people like, look, you don't try to tear down the system. You don't need to be a enemy of the United States. This is why I like Byron Beer's document. And another thing, you know, when you read a lot of different information, and you begin to get an understanding of this information, you can see the mindset of different individuals is what got them into trouble. You know, it's like, you know, some people, you know, you got your tax protesters out there. And, I watched the video Freedom to Fascism and by Aaron Russo, and everybody was, oh, you know, ain't no law that says that you have to pay taxes. Well, it's not based off of a law, it's based off of a contract. It's a contract. Don't have to be no law. It's contractual. That's why you need to read Invisible Contracts, all right, by George Mercier. Extremely intelligent man. Extremely intelligent man. But that's a hard read for some people. They ain't going to read that. They ain't going to read that because it's a hard read. Reading Clerk's Praxis is a hard read. They ain't going to read that, you know, especially if they hadn't had any fundamental education in the public school system where they don't understand their 8 parts of speech. You know, they use a lot of slang. They can't speak very well. Their vocabulary is not very good. They hadn't invested a lot of time in their youth in getting fundamental principles down as far as communication and reading and things of that nature. So it says, anyone have any insight on my question? What question? Do you have to to be an SBC that said anything else. No, you don't. You have to be an SBC in order to establish yourself as a holder in due course. All right. So y'all just kind of thinking about just setting off a debt. No, you have to have a claim on an instrument, which is UCC 3-305. Oh, I'm sorry, 306, and then a claim and recoupment, which is UCC 3-306, and then you have holder in due course, which is UCC 3-302. That's why you're becoming an SBC. Because you're using the commercial chamber to send notices to establish that fact. Do you have to use this commercial chamber? No. The commercial chamber it's like I almost want to call it a privilege, but it's just giving you something so you can use it. But nothing in the UCC says that you have to use the commercial chamber, even though that is basically something that's agreed upon for personal property, which in each individual state. But you don't see anything in the UCC that tells you that you have to use a certain method for giving notices, and that's in the UCC 1-202. But do you need to be a SBC? No. But do you need to pay bills? People don't like set up their accounts and stuff. Like people go to like check cashing places. You got people who got bank accounts, got good credit. They got a business account, a personal account. They know how to transfer every week. They paycheck from their business account to their personal account, and then they get an accounting from a CPA. And you got motherfuckers who go get money orders and pay for shit, and just go to the corner store. So do you have to be SBC? No, you can go and fucking go to check cashing place. That's the analogy that I'm using. Got people who just go to the check cashing place. Man, you got these UCC sections down. I hope to be that good someday. You should. It's easy. Just keep reading. Can anyone give me any insight on the difference between a trust indenture and a contract? Usually they're contained in the same document. An indenture agreement is the contract itself. And then you have a declaration of trust. Just read the Constitution. The preamble of the Constitution is a declaration of trust in each of the articles of the indenture agreement. Have you heard the word indentured servant? It's the instructions for the trustee. Let's see. How do you file a bond in a court case if there are none? You go to the clerk's office and you put it on the correct pleading. You got to use the same caption of the pleading for your particular jurisdiction and file it. Along the way, I have some words on index cards that are helping my foundational study via my Black's 11. Bond, bail, bond, security, valuable, consideration, secure creditor, and surety. Great. That's what I did when I started off. In your opinion, what are the most comprehensive legal/law/financial dictionaries in volume number aside from Black's Law Dictionary? Bouvier's. And then, a lot of legal definitions, if you're using something statutory definitions takes precedence over legal definitions. But I would get I collected all the Black's Law Dictionaries, Bouvier's. If you go to SBC University, we got a whole library of legal dictionaries, like a ton. And Oxford Unabridged Dictionary would be the best street dictionary that you would get. But, you need to get all of them. I don't do Hames, you got to get all of them. I don't really say one. There's an article out that says what's the best, Black's or Bouvier's. And the Supreme Court, they use both. People always have their preference. The thing about it is you just got to do research. I use all the dictionaries. Some of them are good for some situations and some are not. Then I don't think there's a best. Not in my experience. There's not no best. There's only some are good for some things and some are good for other things. But you're going to get your information in a variety of different sources. And then you really should be getting it from case law. And that means I would start with, American jurisprudence or corpus juris secundii. Just my opinion. Anyone reads too much of these misinterpretation of different gurus and it's jacking people all up. Read your own state law, federal rules, and civil procedure. I agree with that. Because sometimes you could be listening to somebody who's not as intelligent as you. A lot of y'all are more intelligent than a lot of the gurus that you listen to. You just don't know it. And I learned that lesson in college. I remember one time I was in this class, and I was taking night school, and I was, I was in school to be a network, get me a CCN certification for computer networking, which I didn't really want to do later on, but because I thought all the intelligent people did that. But anyway, I was in class with a lot of military guys, ex-military guys that were getting out, and we had a study group. And and one of the guys in there, he was like a exec at a corporation. Some of the guys were like military guys and everything. And here I am, I just got out of jail. So we all in class and everything. And it was this one particular question that we had to get. And everybody in the group said it was this answer. And I went against all of them. I said, that's not the answer. And anyway, we were a group, so I went ahead and selected the answer because they convinced me to go with them. When we got back to class and the professor graded our paper, we all got it wrong. And he was reviewing all the questions the next day. And when he got to that question, I raised my hand and told him before he even told us the answer. I said, Professor, I just want to tell you that this is the answer I think it was. I went with my study group, but I didn't feel like that was the right answer. I think it's this answer right here. And he told me I was correct. That taught me a lesson about allowing yourself to be pressured by individuals who, they just tell you straight up that this is the answer. And in your heart or in your mind or in your own, your intuition or whatever it is that you're going to use, you feel like it's something else, but you roll with what somebody else is talking about. You got to go with what is good for you. Because here's the thing about it. You have your own connection to the creator of the boundless universe. Ain't nobody your God. Don't make nobody else your God. Don't make me your God. You got your own connection. And the answers that you need, if you ask for them, they will be provided for you. Stop looking for answers outside yourself. All right. Because me as a teacher, a good teacher is not going to try to indoctrinate you. Okay, indoctrination is when you're trying to instill something in somebody. Okay, a good instructor is trying to extract something from you because all the knowledge is already inside of you. You just need to remember it. You need to have a realization. You need to have an epiphany. That's what a good instructor does. Yusef, have you ever heard of anyone beating a deportation case using SBC or challenging jurisdiction? No. Challenging jurisdiction, what is it going to get you? You're going to get your court case. When you challenge something, you got to go to court. You got to go to a trial. You have to have a hearing on something. And if you're being deported, you ain't from this country. I mean, I'm just saying, I ain't heard nobody do that. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't heard it. I haven't heard that. No, I haven't heard that. But, I will say this. When you look at a lot of foreigners and things like that, it's called the public charge doctrine. You need to study up on the public charge doctrine and understand how you bond yourself against a public charge when you're a foreigner. It's called the public charge doctrine. Google it and start studying it because that's what they're looking at you as, a public charge. I mean, when I was in jail, and when you're in the feds and down in Miami, the guys down there, they international. There's a lot of international guys in Miami Federal Prison because they have guys coming from overseas and, they getting arrested and things like that. A lot of dudes, bringing in drugs and just anything. I had this one particular case. I remember this guy, he was on a cruise ship and, him and his partner, they worked on a cruise ship, but it wasn't an American cruise line. And they got in trouble for some sort of indiscretion with some young ladies in their cabin. And they got arrested when they ported in Miami. And they held him for about 9 months in jail before they let him go. They really didn't have any jurisdiction over him. But they still held him for about 9 months. That's another thing these guys don't tell you. Your ass will get held. And they came up with some ridiculous excuse for seizing jurisdiction over him. But just to make a long story short, in reading a lot of the cases and everything, one thing is like Homeland Security. When you come into the country, they make you sign a document that has an OMB number on it, asking why you come into the country, how much money you got, all these different questions. And when you get arrested, that document is going to be in your discovery because that's a bond. Your word is your bond. So they're bonding you when you come into the country. Same thing when you do naturalization, it's bonding process. Same thing with a passport. A passport is a bonding process. You're being bonded so you can go into another country. And you get a guarantee on that bond from the U.S. government. You have to be bonded before you go into another jurisdiction. Everything is operating through bonds. Everything. That's why the birth certificate is being used as a bonding process. What do you have to send to the federal government to get a passport? Your birth certificate, and they send it back to you. They're bonding. You're being bonded. Read the public charge doctrine. People got to stop trying to fight stuff. It's literally just an accounting charge made by bookkeeping entry. That's exactly right. Trying to determine how it would apply or be beneficial for me outside of my self-satisfaction or curiosity. The only way you're going to be able to determine that is by studying yourself. Nobody can satisfy you with anything but you. Does the administrative process video you post to discharge child support? Administrative process doesn't discharge anything. An administrative process is an evidence gathering tool. So once again, you need to understand what an administrative process is for. Because when you go into law, it's facts and law. You have to determine what the facts are. So like it says in Matthew 5:25, agree with your adversary before you go to court. At least he hand you over to the judge hand you over to the bailiff, and the bailiff casts you to prison. I tell you, you will not come out until you pay the very last farthing. You have to have an agreement with your adversary. An agreement is a stipulation in court. These are basically simple court rules that you can go ask an attorney. I'm not telling you nothing that you can't go ask an attorney. They do an administrative process against you. What do you think they're doing under foreclosure? They send you letters. They say this is an attempt to collect a debt. If you don't answer, it's going to be presumed that everything in this letter is correct. They do an administrative process against you. Then they take you to court with facts. Your Honor, I sent him a letter. He didn't answer. He agreed to it. Let's move forward. This shit ain't hard. Going to join university now, what's the difference between? Right now, let me put it like this. You can join right now. I'm doing a webinar this weekend. However, I've taken a lot of the stuff off the website because we rebranding and rebuilding. I am got a newbie section and I'm putting it up right now. I'm working on that right now. I stopped what I'm doing to do this live stream because somebody sent me a video of someone talking about, people telling you to do bonds and shit like that. It's all negotiable instruments, the UCC. People always try to downplay something else, but I didn't make any of this up. SP, Secure Party Creditor, been around longer than any other process that y'all go out there and study. It is what started all this shit. All this other shit that guys are talking about is new shit that they didn't try to make up. But the Secure Party process is what's been around forever. It's been around forever. It's the oldest shit around. Learn it. If you don't feel like you want it, learn it anyway. And then do something else if you want to do it. But it don't have nothing to do with really like status correction and things like that. It's private banking. It's discharging debt. It's dealing with the fact ain't no money. It's the UCC. It's the Uniform Commercial Code. We're dealing with commercial matters. And the government has turned everything into commercial. That's why you have Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, which is the Commerce Clause. You have a 27 CFR 72.11 that talks about commercial crimes. I have done a lot of work in court as far as criminal indictments on the federal level. All criminal indictments are commercially related. The jurisdictional clause that they put in all indictments is that you have violated interstate commerce. I'm doing this from experience. I'm not talking at the side of my neck. A lot of these other motherfuckers, they talking at the side of their neck. They ain't been involved in nothing. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. That shit sound good. Question of incorporating my family to protect against death tax and also to protect my assets. Is it good to go with just your standard business license, LLC or S corp? You can start with the LLC. I suggest people start with the LLC because it's the easiest thing to incorporate, and it kind of gets your feet wet. You can always change any type of entity over to something else. You can change. I had an LLC. I changed it over to a C corp. It's paperwork to do that, so it's not that difficult. But start with the LLC, usually for real estate or something like that. But that's an excellent place for the beginner to start. Get you an LLC, go down to the Secretary of State's office or online, incorporate you an LLC, get you an EIN number, go to the bank and get you a bank account. That's really simple. That's how easy it is to get a business bank account. Incorporation, EIN number, take the document that you get from your incorporation papers that you get from the Secretary of State and your EIN number you get from the IRS and go to the bank and open up your bank account. and then start the process of getting you business credit and things like that and start learning how to do business. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you got to understand how to be a businessman or woman. Start right there first. And don't realize that the 200B didn't just make itself and start discharging or trading in certificates and units and so on. Okay. Do you help people get out of prison? You know, let me tell you, I got somebody who wrote me from, was it not Attica, up in New York. It's one of the prisons in New York. Let me tell you about that. There are people helping people get out of prison. They were using like GSA forms and things of that nature, which I am a big proponent of using GSA forms to get out of prison, Now, the thing about it is once you have been convicted, they have a lien against you. All right, so they have a priority perfected lien already. So you're going to have to use a habeas corpus to get back in court. And a lot of people don't know how to use habeas corpus. The reason I always talk about one man out, because in one man out, what he did was he did all of his UCC filings and things like that. But the most important thing that he did is he exposed the fraud. He was able to articulate in his writings the jurisdiction that the United States government was using to hold him in prison. Now, if you don't understand that, it's going to be hard for you to get out of jail because you got to put the facts on the record. Now, there's an operational presumption in place because you got to understand the federal government is operating through an administrative court. These are not judicial courts. These are not Article 3 courts. U.S. district courts are not Article 3 courts. Don't let the motherfuckers fool you. They're not. If you think they are, then go in there and ask them because you got some motherfuckers that'll say it is, but that motherfucker ain't never been in court. You can find out for yourself. You just go in court and ask the motherfuckers. You know, and how you ask them, you got to ask them in a slick way. You can't say, is this an Article 1 or Article 3 court? You got to trip their ass. You got to say, you know, Your Honor, it is my understanding that under the Sixth Amendment, I got a right to know the nature and cause of any action that's being brought against me. Is that correct? Well, yeah, okay, well, okay. Well, the court reporter over there, okay, court reporter, write this down. Okay, now I got another question. The Constitution for the United is this civil or criminal? Ask me that. Is this a civil or criminal action? Now, it's a penal action, which is civil in nature, but they're going to tell you it's criminal. Okay, so okay, it's criminal. All right, criminal. Okay, let the record reflect. Action. Now, sir, for the record. Now, you got to understand that the Constitution only has 3 jurisdictions: admiralty, equity, and common law. They're going to tell you straight up it's not common law. Equity don't have a criminal aspect to it. That's why you're asking him, is it criminal or civil? So at least admiralty. Admiralty is civil in nature, and it's about debt collection. They don't want you to know that. I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm talking from experience. I've been in them courts. Fuck what everybody else is saying. Fuck you, nigga. Okay, I've been in there. All right? Fuck what you talking about. I've been in them goddamn federal courts, all right? I've been in them dungeons. And shit like that. Fuck all that shit these niggas is talking about. Fuck them, okay? I'm telling you straight up, all right? This shit is commercial. It's coming under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3 of the Constitution for the United States of America, which is the Commerce Clause. And that bill of indictment is a bill, okay? It's a commercial instrument, and it is a debt collection. Fuck what you heard. All that shit talking about status and all that shit, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. That shit don't mean nothing. Tell these niggas to start getting niggas cases from in prison and everything, start reading these indictments and look at that jurisdiction. Even Winston Shroud case, Tekashi 6ix9ine, I did a video on him. I read the whole entire document. It's commercial. Ain't nothing but this. It's got a plethora of commercial terms in it, but all you're looking for in a federal indictment is violated interstate commerce. That's the jurisdictional element that the federal government is using to seize jurisdiction and to pull yourself into a U.S. district court. And they're going to verify, first of all, that you got a social security number. That's it, all right? Fuck all that other shit these niggas is talking about. I don't give a fuck what they talking about, what they teaching. I don't care about some broad somewhere teaching you some shit, talking about shit, calling themselves judges and shit like that. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, okay? That shit sounds good. All right, but at the end of the day, what's happening is you taking benefits and privileges. And you need to start putting these people on notice, and you got to understand what it means to be a free individual. You need to start taking responsibility for your own children, responsibility for your own health, responsibility for everything that goes on in your life, because that's what free individuals do. All right, these PPP loans and all that shit right there, they ain't nothing but a setup to seize jurisdiction over you and try to force y'all to take vaccinations. Because you're taking benefits and privileges from the federal government, which is prima facie evidence that you need to be taken care of, which is what happened in 1933 with the Great Depression. You need to be taken care of. So I don't think why you think you're going to be taken care of them, then you still going to, it ain't happening, man. I'm just telling you. He said, let me ask you this. I tried bouncing that off my lawyer. That criminal or AKA common law requires there to be a victim. He responded back with police search her car and find heroin. I mean, drugs is a victimless crime. You read that in Black's Law Dictionary. Just look up victimless crime. And they will tell you an example is drugs. Ain't no victim. So ask him, well, how am I getting, now to be a victim, that means it would have to be common law, but it's not common law. All right, it's not common law. They'll tell you it's not common law. Look up penal action in a Black's Law Dictionary. These are penal code violations. That's what they are. They're penal code violations. And like I said, just go in court now. Why are you asking your attorney? That nigga ain't gonna tell you shit. Tell the sign it. Anytime anybody in public tells you something, see if they'll put it in an affidavit and swear to it under penalty of perjury. If they're not willing to do that, you can take it as a grain of salt. You do understand there's a principle of law, Roman law, that he who can be fooled, let him. Ain't no law against lying. There's a law against perjury. That's what y'all understand about the public. Ain't no law against lying. There's a law against perjury. Perjuring yourself. That means you swore to tell the truth under penalty of perjury or affirm something. Ain't no law against lying. Does an affidavit of identity give room to establish the fact that a license to carry a weapon is an infringement of my Second Amendment protected rights? That's a good ass question right there. And see, I like questions like that. That's a good fucking question. Let me talk about the firearms. They call firearms. Okay. It's not an infringement against your Second Amendment rights because it's a free country. Corporations are making those weapons and they got the right to regulate commerce. Those weapons are coming under the Commerce Clause and they're regulating them under that. Really, what they really telling you is go make your own goddamn weapon. You got a right to do that. Make your own weapon. Back in the day when all that shit, you got to understand this. When the Second Amendment and all that came into effect, people had gunsmiths. They were creating their own weapons. Wasn't no serial numbers on guns or nothing like that. All right, they had gunsmiths. People were making their own guns. You had a right to have your own weapons. Now you got corporations doing it, and those corporations are incorporated under the federal government. They're being regulated by them. So no, it's not an infringement on your Second Amendment right. It's not. Just like YouTube shutting you down for freedom, ain't no freedom of speech violations because YouTube is a private corporation. They got terms of service. So it's like, no, motherfucker, you can't say this on our channel. And you can't do nothing about it. You can't do nothing about it. There ain't no infringement on your freedom of speech and all that shit. It's not. Attorneys are hired because you're incompetent. Why would you have them? They are. If you have an attorney, you are incompetent. What is your opinion about citations or tickets? I mean, it's revenue agents trying to extract credit out of the private and bring it into the public. Usually, did you have a Department of Expatriation against the United States? No. Why the fuck are you going to do that? We're talking about something else. We're talking about, you can do that. You can do that. Ain't nothing wrong with doing that. You can do that if you want to, but you could put it in the form of a document. No, you don't have to do that, but you can do that. That's one thing you can do. Can you secure you? But you got to understand. You got to make sure that they understand that you're expatriating out of the corporate United States and not of the de jure Republic of the United States of America. Can you secure party if you were not born in the USA? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. The UCC is worldwide. Gene Jeeting was saying if you challenge the court with a tax issue, they can dismiss the case. Well, I'm not challenging anything. I think you using something else with challenge. You're just requesting that they provide the tax information. You come in there with a W-9, give them tax information, you're going to report it. Mark, that is not complete. I don't know what that. Firearm serial numbers are licensed by the government. Yep, that's right. So in UUAW case, that is the best way to stay in honor and get the case dismissed. I don't know what that means. Your videos have helped me my criminal case so much. All debts are negotiable, and I choose not to be a part of the public. And that's what I'm saying. You know, people talk this shit. Go out there and try it. I get people call me all the time. I'm just not the kind of person that parades people in front of you. Look, there's another individual that I have helped. Go and give a testimony to the public because I'm not trying to sell you anything. Like not like that. It's like, hey, look, you know, you can listen to what I'm saying or not. I don't care. I know how this shit goes. The only way you're gonna find out the truth is you got to go through it yourself. Ain't nobody gonna be. What you looking for? Y'all looking for motherfuckers to convince you. Only way you gonna know is you go through it yourself. I don't give a fuck what guru out there is talking to you. Don't matter. You're not gonna know the truth till you go through it. You can purchase a lower receiver unfinished and it is not considered a weapon. Okay. But isn't YouTube affecting the public when they block and sway public perception and sway things such as elections and injure the public? I would agree with that. I would agree with that. But, you know, you have the option of not watching YouTube. You have the option of not getting your information from YouTube. There is an internet that is vast. You don't have to go on YouTube to get any of your information. There's a vast internet out there. I agree with what you're saying, but you're talking about a private corporation with terms of service, and I think that they should be regulated. I think YouTube should be regulated. I do. I think the federal government should take over YouTube. And they should take over Facebook and all of that. Well, let me take that back. Maybe not regulated in the sense, but I see what you're saying, what YouTube is doing, because they're liberal, they're Democrat, they're socialists. Those are socialist, Marxist, communist platforms. YouTube is, look who is the CEO of YouTube. She's a feminist, she's a Jew, she's a feminist. You know, I just got banned off Facebook for 30 days, and then I did my research. You can't say nothing about feminists on Facebook. Can't say nothing about them. You can't talk about it. All that's a part of agenda. Feminism, homosexuality, the transgender, all that is, those are agendas of the liberal party, okay, to try to weaken their opposition. And, you know, you can't talk about any of that. You know, we talk about all of the social media platforms, they are all what? Left. They're all Democrat. They're all Democratic. Oh, because they're owned by Jews. 85% of Jews aren't Democrats. I'm not saying anything wrong. Go verify this for yourself. Hell, they'll agree with me. And I don't knock them for it. They want to control shit they can. I do think that they are in control of the world, you know. Damn, really fools this said false evidence appearing real. Yeah, it all comes back to the Jews. Oddly, I found an old synagogue in Connecticut named Otto Synagogue of Israel. Interesting. It says, Florida Governor DeSantis just made law infringement on free speech in Florida at $250,000 per violation. What do you mean if they violate your free speech? You talking about the social media platforms? What do you think about creating your own money orders? Got a bond at 35. I don't deal with money orders. I deal with international bills of exchange, which are three-party instruments. I established a contract with the Treasury Department, because if you're going to utter instruments within their jurisdiction, you need permission. So you need to contact them, let them know what you're doing, and all of that. Now, I don't fuck with money orders. I don't. You know, if you want to do that, it's cool. I fuck with one thing only: bills of exchange. Liberal media is distracting the population on two things. The fiat currency system is at the end of its cycle, hence hyperinflation, and the world is shifting to private currency on the blockchain. Private currency is going to be regulated by the government. And that shit is not going to be private. The government is going to regulate everything. So that's what socialism is, the total elimination. You need to read the Communist Manifesto. Communism is the total elimination of private property. One word. So y'all, that's another thing I think people don't understand. You know, government, that what they're heading for is government in control of everything. Let's see, it says liberal media, let's see, you contract your right away by accepting YouTube agreement, which is constitutional and lawful. Yeah. Driver's license or commerce, yes, they are. Quasi-public private corporations like YouTube, Facebook, Tesla, what is that? Shouldn't be able to hide behind private and this is like covert fascism. I agree, but I mean,
Let me say this about that. What you're saying is, in principle, I agree with what you're saying, but I like what it says in the protocols of the learned elders design. You give any man a chance to rule the world, he would probably take it, and you would probably implement your own way of doing things. You just don't have the willpower to do it. Somebody else is doing it. They're stronger than you, and they're doing it. So you got to start working on your willpower. Don't nobody got no power over you. You just got to learn how to exercise your will over your life, and you can't worry about what somebody else is doing. Hell, create your own social media platform. There are plenty of things out there for you to do it. Y'all don't have to congregate. Everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram is there voluntarily. Can you please give me a private tax preparer that can do my taxes? I don't know the private tax preparer because they call CPAs, they call certified public accountants. I don't know no fucking private tax preparer. And if I was to give you that name over the internet, somebody would probably go and try to arrest him. So I don't understand that fucking question. What the fuck is a private tax preparer? If you're private, I ain't finna tell you on a motherfucking public social media network, somebody gonna do your taxes for you. They no longer private. Y'all see how these questions be going? These questions be tripping me out. Everybody trying to evade paying Tom about private. This is that don't even know what the bank and international settlements is. Okay. You think creating a silver bond for land is an extra layer of protection? Seeing a sovereign need lawful money, will that, I guess, make it sovereign land? Okay, when you use a silver bond, what is it backed by? If it's a silver bond, do you got did you put it in a custody of some sort of financial institution, the silver that you're being utilized? Safekeeping receipt. SKR. Do you know what the SKR is? Safekeeping receipt? Because y'all just make a silver bond saying it's backed by silver, but there's no proof that you have the silver. The proof that you're going to have the silver is by a safekeeping receipt from a bank. And safekeeping receipts are negotiable instruments. Y'all pull up negotiable SKRs. You'll see what I'm talking about. Highly recommended you watch a video on Michael Black, Subversion, Psychological Warfare. The man was banned from Twitter and YouTube. He goes into Islam, feminism, and the Frankfurt School. Hell, I've had my channel taken down. What do you think they did to me? I don't need to watch that shit. I already know all that. Sorry about the misspelling, okay? Can you please give me a private tax? Okay, I just read that. Let's see. Let me go down here. Yeah, they are. Will the problem with the silver bond be the bond part? I don't understand that question. Don't make no sense. A while back, you just going to ensure. Some of y'all, let me tell y'all this, man. Some of y'all don't need to be fucking with none of this shit. Because you ain't got basic shit down. It's like, you got to get some basic shit down, man. You got to learn how to read. You need to know what your 8 parts of speech are. You need to know to capitalize a motherfucking word at the beginning of a sentence. There's some people that don't know how to do that shit. And they be asking, you need to study what a bond is. You need to study like basic shit. You know what I'm saying? It says, I asked a while back, do you link your BC to a CUSIP number? I mean, your CUSIP, what is CUSIP number? CUSIP is Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Process. It's just a tracking number for securities. You're using the registered mail number for the same purpose. No, you can register with CUSIP, though. There is a process where you can use CUSIP. So I have to keep discharged, but you don't need to. You can use a registered mail number. So I have to keep discharged in case every time I get stopped drive without a license. What? I mean, yeah. Why you getting stopped by? Let me ask you a question. Why are you so dishonorable that you keep going into court all the fucking time? That would be my first question. Why the fuck do you keep going into court? Why are you living your life so much? Why are you speeding all the goddamn time? Learn how to fucking drive or travel. What the fuck you keep going into court all the fucking time? There's something wrong with your ass. You got to keep in court all the time. You're attracting that shit into your life. In an attempt to understand the public charge behind the UUW and what maneuvers I can use to set off the case. Okay, to read abatement at common law. That's one thing you can start with. We're talking about set off the case. Setting off, listen, man, it ain't nothing different about setting up. Just because you say, I want to set off a traffic ticket, I want to set off a criminal case, it's all the same shit. I ain't gonna tell you no different shit because you just named something different. It's the same shit. The same. Okay, ain't nothing different about nothing. Just because you try to, what y'all try to do, you try to create a scenario and ask me, it's the same shit. You discharge a credit card the same way you discharge a criminal case. So stop asking them dumbass questions. Corpus Juris Secundum Bills and Notes, very good. Sit down and read obsessively. Yes, American. This is for readers. This is not for people who don't read. It ain't for people who don't read. It's for readers. At what point should I copyright my name? Begin anytime you get ready. No, I meant to find out what CUSIP number is assigned to it. I mean, they used to go on Fidelity Mutual website. I mean, you got to get a street name and all that shit and find out what's going on through the DTC to get that information, but I don't think it's necessary. But there's a process you can do that, though. There is a process. Will the problem with the silver bond be the bond? Okay, I reread that shit. Let's see. The periods that the brother be offering need to be read over and over. I mean, go to SPC University, hit resources, and then the PDF section. It's a ton of free documents there. And you can also join our Facebook group, and it's 1 million documents over there in our Facebook group. Secured Party Creditor -HFR. That's the name of it on Facebook. Secured Party Creditor -HFR. It's a whole bunch of shit over there. We got over 14,000 members in that Facebook group. It says, I submitted a motion to ask the judge why she denied dismissal of jurisdiction. Can you show me where to look for? You submitted a motion. Okay, so you submitted a motion. What did she say? A motion is a request. You private, you would never put in a motion. So what did she say? That would be my thing. You're in the public. When you did a motion, you're in the public. So you need to be looking at statutes, codes, rules, and regulations. That's what you need to be looking at. We talk about private. But if you sit in a motion is a request. You're in the public. I bought so many Corpus Juris Secundum on eBay. Really good book. We as a people should be buying all these damn books and start reading them. Yes, you should. I would agree. Especially legal encyclopedias is an excellent way to get the foundational understanding of the law. Is the legal encyclopedias. Definitely. Gold and silver can be mined at about 2% each year and is heavily centralized. Bitcoin is the only scarce asset in the entire. Bitcoin is not scarce. That's a fucking fiat currency too. What are y'all talking about? It's electronic currency. It's not backed by anything. Let's see. I submitted. Okay, no, this we got. Let's talk about the 12 universal laws. I don't know 12 universal laws. I know 7 universal laws. I don't know 12. Or universal principles that everything is based off of. You got all these different people who talk about 12 laws, 10 laws, 9 laws. You got all that shit out there. Are you working while in Vegas or chilling in Cali, about ready to jump in the whip and smash out there to get a sit down? Go ahead, man. I'm in Vegas. I'm at the Bellagio. Hit me on the DM. I'm telling you where I'm at, but I'm in the penthouse. I got security. You can't get in this motherfucker, all right? So you come up in these motherfucking hotels and shit. You know what it is. I also was able to buy the William Blackstone books in brand new condition for like $128. That is good. All the laws in this country are based off William Blackstone commentaries as well as the Bible. Ruben Fernandez. I think the current edition of Black Star is the 11th edition. I think it's the most current edition. I got the most current. I'm not at home right now, but I bought the latest edition. I think I paid like $125 for it or some shit like that. Took me 2 months, but I think was it $80, $90? I forgot how much it was. I bought it off eBay. How much I paid for that Black Star dictionary? I got the 11th edition. Let's get the 11th edition. Use of name everywhere on these docs and groups. So how is it not scarce? There is a fixed amount of coins that can never go up. I'm not going to speak on Bitcoin. I'm not an expert on Bitcoin, but it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by anything. Jurisdiction is reserved on the paper I got from Commissioner of California. Jurisdiction is reserved. Okay, well, that don't mean anything because actions speak louder than words. Just because you say jurisdiction is reserved, you could contradict that by saying something else in your paperwork that grants jurisdiction. They never intended for the common man to know this, or they would have never took civics out of school. I agree. Does child support have the right to report to my credit? It's a debt collection, and why not? Credit bureaus are private corporations. They can do what they want to do. They ain't governmental entities. So I'll say yeah. I live in Vegas. All right, what's up? I just left Vegas. I'm having a good time in Vegas right now. It says the Fed tracked down 61.5 of $75 million of Bitcoin that hackers ransomed them for. Bitcoin is not secure even now. Yeah, I already know. The regulation is coming on that. Can I use my LLC for more than the industry such as baked goods and real estate, or do I need to start a new LLC? I mean, you know, what I try to tell people is when they form an LLC or any type of corporation, make your first corporation general. Like Simona G Industries, and then make other corporations under that. That allows you to go into any type of thing that you want to do. If you want to switch from one thing to over to this other thing, you can do that. But if you say Flowers LLC, and then you're dealing with flowers, and now you want to go into banking, it's pretty difficult. So always use a general name for your corporation. There are too many people hypnotized by this Bitcoin nonsense. And I say they're trying to get people to invest in it because, you need investors. You need people paying into the system to make it work. Bitcoin is actually the most secure data that has not been hacked. So, and it may be secure. I'm not challenging the security of Bitcoin. It's not a question. And I do think that digital currency is the wave of the future. I do. We are heading to a cashless society, because that's going to be the way that they're going to make everybody pay taxes, and they want going to be the way they're going to track each and every transaction. And you're going to pay taxes on every fucking thing. And if you don't agree to be a part of it, they're going to cut off your chip, and you are going to get kicked out of the system. That's what Bitcoin is, the harbinger of all this new world order stuff that's coming into fruition very shortly. You know anything, Yusef, about the KYC, know your customer? That sounds like a business principle. I guess, in my understanding of it, yes. I began to read legal dictionaries and came to a simple realization as people, the game played against us is like 3-card Molly. I didn't come to that conclusion, and he put everything on the table for you to see. That's how they operate under plausible deniability. How would you use SBC for your monthly bills? I don't. Been digitally banking currency since banks started using computers. China and Japan already doing digital purchases. You could go do your monthly bills. You do a 1099 or OID process. Get some sort of recoupment. UCC 3-305. My family wants to move to the South, and I have other family down there. But the only interesting part of the area to me is Atlanta. I live in Atlanta. I think Atlanta is the best place in America for Black people. Just my opinion. I got Shiba Inu token. I don't know what that is. Technology to create a cryptocurrency is free. Okay. Now I'm trying to go to cryptocurrency. I already said I'm not an expert in cryptocurrency. Thank you for putting me on all these books and information. You're an inspiration to all of us. I've been studying for about 5 years now, and I've learned so much. The Mad Juicer, thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see what else we got. All right, so I just want to come on and tell y'all, remember the 4 rules. There ain't any money. There is no money. There's no money. There's just credit and a credit system. Ain't no money. Not used within the United States. I noticed I didn't say United States of America, the Republic. In the United States, ain't no money. All right, y'all. That's it for me. I will check y'all on the next live stream. It's been great. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscriptions, they keep the algorithm going. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. Peace to the gods. I'll see y'all on the next live stream.